MixW and TNC modes, Pactor, Amtor. Okay, let's start with Amtor, MixW Amtor. So this is done by MixW directly. Amtor and MixW is only available in effect mode FEC, so you're not going to be able to do a RQ connected mode Amtor. In this case, you can use RTTY macros, for example. It's not a problem. You don't need any special macros for FEC Amtor. You've got the shift, the char set, if it's inverted or not, depends mark and space whether they're inverted or not. Fine. Pactor, MixW Pactor. You can only do MixW Pactor in receive mode, so you can't transmit anything in Pactor with MixW. We've got the receive frequency here. I'm not sure, so you can definitely do the receive FEC Pactor. I'm not sure whether you can receive the connected mode Pactor. I'm talking about Pactor 1 anyway. You've got to look it up in the help file or manual or online. This setting here is the receive frequency. You can also change it directly on the waterfall. Right, let's clear up the screen here. You can see I've set up a macro here, macro file for this mode, but this is pretty much useless for this mode in MixW, Pactor mode in MixW. There shouldn't be any macro file connected to it. I mean, you can define probably a few macros related to the frequency if you want to. Okay, packet in MixW. To connect to packet mode, you need to go to mode, select packet obviously, and then connect at the bottom here. You've got my call, which is your call sign. If you want to enter an SSID, say 5, that's fine. We'll only try that. If you don't enter an SSID, you will try, as you can see, it's grayed out here. We'll try all SSIDs associated with your call. DGs, you can enter DGs here separated by a space, and that's the remote call sign you want to connect to. So if we try connect, he's trying to connect. Right? Obviously there's no one. That's my other call sign, so there's no one at the other end. If you want to disconnect, you just go and select disconnect here. That's fine. Let's clear that out. Macros for this mode, I don't know. You can probably set up a script here, whatever, possibly a connection or a set of commands once you are connected to a node or whatever. You could either enter them here or set them up in a script with a script command, which is this one here at the bottom. I'm not going to go into that right now. I'm going to wait for the TNC to. You can type whatever you want. That's fine. Press cancel. Mode settings. Right. So for the moment, I've set this up as an APRS DG. Right. This is my call here. DG is called. These are the APRS wide NN DG call signs. You want to DGP it. As you can see, I've got a test one here for RPN, which is robust packet DG. You can forget about that one. As you select enable DGP TCP, I'm not going to go through that. I'm going to have to record a separate video for that. Emulate KISS TNC on TNC emulation port. I'm not going to go through that either, but you've got a very good website here W3JJJ, it explains you how to emulate a port. Use MixW as a TNC basically. Modem, you select your modem. I'm in HF now, so I've selected the HF packet modem. Filter width 400 Hz, which is fine. DCD threshold, we should leave it about there. Parameters, max frame 1, pack lane 60 for HF is fine. 300 milliseconds, it's okay for HF. Tail, you can probably put tail as, I don't know, 5 milliseconds. Slot time, I'm not going to go through that, it's a bit complicated to explain. It's a probability to transmit packet according to what MixW hears on the frequency, whether it hears any packets or whatever. It's for packet collision as well. You can Google it up. A couple of very good websites where it explains how to set that up. But they should be left here as default is fine. Retry 10. These should be all left as default. Beacon. Beacon, you can obviously beacon your position in APRS in this case. This is my APRS call sign via wide 1.1 as I'm this station is a home station. You don't want to transmit your beacon via any wider than 1.1, let's say. Destination call APRS, that's fine for HF. You can probably change it to AP MixW as well, so it identifies the type of program you're using for APRS. This is the beacon text. Okay, right, so this is a beacon text. You have to type it manually. Equal is message enabled station, which well, MixW doesn't have any message APRS messaging included, so yeah, it's actually wrong, but I'm gonna leave it. I can't remember right now. There is another website where you can find this one out, which is APRS.net, as you can see here. This is message capable. I should have probably set the exclamation symbol. Let's just do that. Okay. These are the coordinates, longitude, latitude, and these two here define the symbol which is shown on the APRS map. And this is the text you want to go with a beacon. Great, so we're just copying, well actually it's the same, I'm just going to change this here. You can do messaging with MixW, but you'll have to do it manually probably. Possibly set it up in a macro script, I'm not sure. Anyway, monitor, this is to show all the control frames. This is for TCP/IP. I'm going to go for that. Okay, so now if you want to use MixW as a normal packet station, you can change a few things here, like, well, you can probably leave the same call sign. Your DG call sign, you can set the DG call sign, let's say 0IP4. Okay, enable DG pitting modem if you're in HF, that's fine. Parameters is fine. Beacon, if you want to beacon your position as an APRS, as a packet station, not APRS, you can probably change this to identity digits if you want to DG that, not in HF anyway. Beacon text, you can change that to, I don't know, something like M0IPU R 0IPU slash 44DG, something like that, and then your locator. This is the interval in seconds, how often you want that beacon to go out into the air. Okay, I think that's it. The settings here. Great. What else? We've gone to Pactor, Amtor, mode settings for packet. Right, let's go to additional modes now. Additional modes, you can set up various other modes which are not defined within MixW. You can use this for purpose of logging a mode which is not available in MixW 3. Let's say FT8 in this case. So this is the name that will appear in the log. If you want to run an external program with this mode, you can do so. In this case, WSJTX, which is a program that, well, it is the program which works with FT8. You can select the path here. Wait until it ends. This is probably to do with closing that particular program and return to MixW. You got to close the cat, PTT, and the sound card in MixW, so that they will be available in WSJTX unless you have a different sound card for that. You can define other modes here as well, like a simple mode, which is like a simple definition, which is doesn't call any external program. Let's say JT9, just for the purpose of logging it into MixW. And then you can call that particular program with by selecting here in additional modes. If you select JT9, you will say JT9 here in the mode, but obviously you have to run and log this manually. Don't worry about the macros here. The macros here are selected by default. There is no I'm not sure why. Right, so the TNC modes now. The TNC modes, you can bypass MixW, let's say, its sound card capabilities, and use MixW 3 in this case. Use it as a terminal program. So it turns into a terminal program where you can define some macros and stuff like that to control the TNC. In this case, I've set up a mode, Pactor mode, which is not the same with this one up here. It's a Pactor done via the TNC, so all the commands and all the work is done by the TNC, and MixW only acts as a terminal. The advantage with this one, you can set up few macros there. And now with Pactor TNC in particular, there is a macro coming with MixW, which you can use for Kantronics TNCs. So from this point of view, it's you can use that macro as a reference as well if you want to set up a macro for Amtor, let's say, as well. Obviously with the slight variations there for Amtor. You've got to go through your TNC manual. I'm not going to go through that right now. But let's have a quick look at this Pactor setting here in the TNC menu. Right, so TNC mode settings. Right, as it appears in the log, which is Pactor. You write a little description here. Here you can select a macro for this TNC mode, Pactor KAM-XL, which is, I think I've got it open here somewhere, which is this one here. Okay, you can edit that if you'd like. Got it all here. Let's have a quick look at one of these ones. Disconnect macro, let's say. High text, that's so the text won't come up on the screen here, on the monitor screen. Control C is the control C now, as you would do it with any TNC. D is disconnect. Show text comes back to show text on the monitor screen. MixW. What else? We got various other Pactor commands, TNC Pactor commands. trace.tx. That's not much unless you have another macro assigned for tx. I think it's just there for. That's to connect in Pactor TNC mode. Control CX, that comes out whatever mode you're in, then puts you into Pactor, and then you have to. MixW will prompt you for the call sign, and then go back to show text again. Okay, so that's pretty fairly easy. Let's say you have to deselect merge macros. You don't want to merge macros for this mode with any other macros for other modes, let's say. Okay, now TNC. Okay, you have to define which port your TNC is connected to. These TNCs here go through TNC1, which is defined by the connection is defined by TNC settings. With MixW, you can connect two TNCs. This is TNC1, and this will be a second TNC, which we'll have a look at it in a minute. Right. So my Kantronics is connected to COM8. This is all pre-selected here by me, the baud rate and the other serial parameters, serial connection parameters. Okay, so we should all be fine. If I want to do Pactor via KAM-XL, I'm selecting Pactor here. And now I'm in Pactor standby, which means that the TNC listens to FEC and connected, I believe it listens to connected ARQ Pactor as well. I'm not sure, I can't remember. I'll go through Kantronics manual for that, but I'm not going to go right now. As you can see on top, you've got the macros for Pactor TNC. Right, as I said, this TX macro doesn't quite mean anything for this mode unless you have another macro called TX, which puts the MixW into. You've got to define some other commands there, so forget about that. Connect, that's the connect macro in Pactor. If I type control, you've got the other ones, as you know, with MixW, the other shift. These are the shift ones. Control shift are the rest of the macros there. Okay, so let's go to TNC2 now. TNC2 doesn't have anything to do with these TNC modes here. It's a separate TNC where you can control a second terminal node controller. In this case, PK232, which is right there. You'll have to define the connection to TNC2. As you can see, it's on port 1. The rest of the serial connection settings. Okay. This is the TNC2 window. As you can see, I'm on a frequency of on a node frequency. It's already picked up a few packets there. So I'm basically now directly in a terminal, which is a separate terminal window here. It's not connected at all with the first one in MixW, the main one, let's say, not the first one. Okay, I think I have to set the day, the time here, clock not set. Just pause that. Okay, 18th of March 1911. That's fine. Cool. So this second TNC window is used, as I said to you, if you want to operate with a second TNC, some other mode, I don't know, Amtor or whatever, on a different frequency, different rig, of course. Or you can use this to populate the DXcluster here, which is quite interesting. Well, in this particular situation, you have to empty these fields here, the web cluster fields. Obviously, select whatever you want to select here. Refresh time, and also you have to have a DXcluster available somewhere close to you, which is via packet radio. Okay, so I'm gonna minimize this for now. So let me connect to the local DXcluster here, and I'm also going to show you the script procedure to connect automatically to the DXcluster. I'm going to connect manually first, so connect to GB7 and WG. Sorry, no, actually the DCD light here was on all the time, so obviously the TNC wouldn't connect. Probably played with it a bit earlier, and it's connected. There's a problem with reception here. 1 second. Let's try again. Yeah, it was probably the DCD light wasn't properly set on the PK232. As you can see on the screen, I've got the control frames here as well displayed. Okay, so now I want to show you this prompt here. This one in particular here, equal and then a bracket. This is important for the script. Let's keep that in mind. Now, if you want to connect to the DXcluster with this node in particular, let's type a question mark here. See the commands, the list of commands so far. It's not perfect, unfortunately. No. So we type DX, and we have the DXcluster. I'm still picking up the question marks. Pause. Okay, it's now connecting to the DXcluster, which is a different station, DB7IPF. The B7NWG is probably connected via internet to this particular cluster. Okay, so let's have a look at the DXcluster dialog. What is that? You can see it's already picking up the stations from the TNC2 terminal window, right, which is this call sign here. Picked up the other call sign as well, and so on. I'm going to try and disconnect this node, maybe in B by. Right, so I'm totally disconnected from the DXcluster and the node as well. Now, if you want to automate all these connections, you can run a script. I've got one for this particular station in the MixW user folder. It's called a GB7NWGDXSCR. So what it does now, as you can see here, is sending connect to GB7NWG and then Control M, which is enter. It has waited for this prompt here, equal and bracket, and then once that came up, it detected that, it typed DX, and now it's connected directly to the DX cluster. So no typing there at all. The script is this one here. We've got a bit of a help there in the MixW help file. This is the script help here. Okay, let's minimize that. So sleep, this is to wait 1 second, I believe. It is, yes. Then send the control C. This is to initialize the command on the second TNC window here. Okay. Then we have a control M, which is an enter. Control M is enter. This sign here in this MixW script is control. Okay, so I can find it here. It's the control sign. Now it waits 5 seconds for the command prompt. If it detects that string command, let's have a look here. This command string here, I've lost it. Then it should proceed to the next command, which is send. Well, it's control GB7NWG, control M. This is enter, or send pack, which is pretty much the same with the enter. Now it times out in 60 seconds if it doesn't detect this prompt, the GB7NWG prompt in the TNC2 window. If it's detecting that during the 60 seconds, then it's sending the DX and then enter command. And once that's that's done successfully, it closes. That's pretty much it. So you can write very easily these scripts. As you can see, the DX cluster is populated by the DX spots sent by GB7I, well, GB7WG, but the DX cluster is actually GB7IPF. Okay, so I think we're pretty much done with that. B, which is disconnect from both the cluster and the node. Okay, that's pretty much it. I've recorded this separately and inserted it in the original video. It's about Packet. So with Packet in sound card mode, in the MixW Packet sound card mode, you've got the main window, and once you selected Packet and you've gone through all the mode settings, in the main terminal window you are already in unproto mode, so whatever you type here is going to go into as an unproto frame, as you can see. I'm not sure whether you can hear that. Right, so everything is either unproto or connected, like if you want to connect to a station, as you can see, it's trying to connect. It's send a subm, and Control-Alt-C if you want to use your keyboard. Right, I'm going to disconnect now. Let's clear the screen. So once you selected Packet in MixW and go to the main window, you're either in unproto, or if you choose to connect, you connect to a station. Macros, you can select a script, as I said, or set up other little text commands you may enter when you connect to a node or things like that. Right, so we are in Packet, HF Packet 300 boards. With HF Packet you can move your frequency and choose a frequency on the main screen. And you should be obviously in USB or LSB. Well, USB lately. Okay, I'm in FM now because I'm just about to do a little demonstration connecting to another station I've got set up here, which is this remote screen. It's basically a Baofeng connected to a KPC3 connected to a laptop, and this screen here on the right is it's remote into that laptop. So as I said, with FM you can with HF Packet you can move the frequency on the screen wherever you like. Obviously it's preferable in the center of the filter. Now let's go to mode settings, modem, and let's choose as I've connected this computer via sound card, I've connected it to an FM rig as well. So let's do that. Let's okay, input -6 dB. That's not, we can actually leave 0 there. We don't need any de-emphasis. It's been already de-emphasized on the transceiver, so that's de-emphasis and this is pre-emphasis. We can leave it at 0 as it is done on the rig. Great. So let's press OK. Now it's sending a beacon in 1200 baud FM packet. Let me see. Right, so we should be ready to connect to the other station. Don't forget to obviously check your hardware. the sound card and all the rest. PTT, well, CAT depends. Now, if when we switch to the 1200 boards packet, as you can see, the center frequency on the waterfall is fixed now. You can't move it anymore. It's 1700, the center, which is the middle of 1200 and 2200 hertz. The bell tones for FM packet 1200 boards. Okay, so what else? Obviously, you have to do your calibration in case of FM. Just go to commands and tune your transmitter. Play with the volume obviously here and stuff like that. I'm going to stop it because I've already calibrated it, so that's no problem. Great, so what else? Mode settings, mode and parameters. I've set a 450 milliseconds delay because I'm using a Baofeng on the other side. Let's try 350 anyway. So. Okay, it's copied correctly. As you can see, the MixW send and a beacon. Right, if I mean, I'm Proto, as I said already. So once you're in packet, you are in Proto. Whatever you type, it goes on the air with MixW. Okay, it's not received on the other side, so let's try again. 150. Let's try now. Yeah, that's fine because as I said, because I've got Baofeng on the other side connected to KPC3 to the laptop. Baofengs they need a bit of a time to switch on, so 450 milliseconds on this side on this computer. It's okay for a Baofeng. Yeah. Great. Let's transmit from the other side. We go into one Proton KPC3 here. Yeah, it's receiving fine. Okay, so here, what do I want to do? Connect. Control Alt C. Let's see. Yeah. It's connected now. So what about time? Let's type something here on this side. Yeah. I'm gonna put the monitor station close to the speaker so you can hear it. So I'm just playing with the volume because I think I decalibrated the it's one of the stations sounds a bit that's strange. Yeah, he had a bit of a bug there. He wouldn't display anything on the screen anymore. Num Proto. Right, let's try something on this side as well. Oh, I've got press K here, sorry I forgot. Okay, so think we're pretty much done with the packet in MixW 3.